What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Love Sports Podcast. Brian here with Tom. Tom, what's going on, my man?
Doing well, man. No complaints. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Tuesday's just about over, so now we can podcast, we can hang out, we can talk some Final Four because that's what I'm looking forward to talking tonight. So tonight, folks, we're bringing you a bonus episode of the Love Sports Pod. We're breaking down the two Final Four matchups for the men's NCAA basketball tournament. So these two games are going to be played in Indianapolis on Saturday, and then the championship game will be the following Monday. Why don't we jump right into it right now? So we'll start off with the first game on the schedule. So Illinois, winners of the South region, right, took down Houston in the Sweet 16 and Iowa in the Elite Eight pretty handily. They'll be facing the UConn Huskies. So UConn wins the East region. They beat Michigan State in the Sweet 16. And then they had that crazy game against Duke, 73-72 in the Elite Eight. That game will be remembered for a very long time, especially by the Cameron Crazies. So UConn, they won back-to-back in 23 and 24 with Dan Hurley as the coach. So they're looking for their third championship in 4 seasons. Illinois makes it to the Final Four for the first time since 2005 when we were both back in high school at that time. So very momentous occasion for the Fighting Illini. So, Tom, so this is a rematch technically of a game they played back in November. And UConn ended up winning the game 74-61. And game at this point that really means absolutely nothing. And I believe, what was it? Was it in 24? UConn, I think, beat Illinois in the Elite Eight pretty handily a few years ago. But this is a much different Illinois team at this point. I think Illinois definitely has the edge in rebounding, right? With the Ivisic brothers handling the rebounding, and then David Merkovic, right? He's a strong rebounder in his own case. And then UConn, so they're going to be countering with Terrace Reed Jr. UConn needs a much better game from Caravan. He did not play well at all against Duke. UConn was able to come out in the end. I mean, that was like his worst game of the tournament. He played well in every other game, just did not have a good game against Duke. And we know Illinois is going to be a team that they want to run up and down the court. So Keaton Wagler, coming off his best game of the tournament, right? He had 25 points. He shot 8 of 17. And of course, you have Andre Stojakovic too. Couldn't think of his name. He's been really good too in the tournament. So, what are your overall thoughts on the Illinois-UConn matchup?
Very quickly, that Illinois team, you took me down memory lane. Luther Head, D. Brown, Darren Williams.
Dude.
They had
Darren
like
Williams.
the big three. I vividly remember them being on I'm almost positive they were on a Sports Illustrated cover. So you brought me down memory lane with that team. They lost to North Carolina.
By the way, speaking of that team, do you remember who they played in the first round of that NCAA tournament?
No, I do not. Who'd they play?
Fairleigh Dickinson, I think, was down like 1 at the half or something like that.
Yeah, they beat by 11
in the second half. But yeah, that was that Fairleigh Dickinson team in 2005 with Tom Green coaching them.
Wow. And again, memory lane, looking at the UNC team they lost to, that was Raymond Felton and those guys. Yeah, to get back on track here, Illinois is a team we talked about in our preview that I kind of put in like one of my 3 tiers, that if everything went right, this could be a team that wins a national championship. And so far, things have gone right. Part of it, the draw they got and the path they had to go, but also through their play. I thought from the beginning Houston was the best team in this region, and they beat Houston, and they beat Houston at their own game. So it's a ton of credit to them for getting here. You can say what you want about Iowa. They went down against Iowa. I think they were down double digits in that game as well, and then found a way to rally back, defend really well in the second half, and now they find themselves a game away from a championship. So they have 4 guys who can score, four guys who shot over 35% or better from 3. They have legit size. One of their 8 rotation pieces are under 6'6", so they're big, they're long, they all chip in and rebound, and recently they've really stepped up their defensive ability. The Houston performance, their second half against Iowa, shows that a different level of defense that they really hadn't shown over parts of this season. They've been a different team than the team that played UConn at the beginning of the season. I'm sure they're feeling good about where they are. In terms of UConn, despite not really playing their best basketball in March, or at least someone who's watched them from the beginning of the year until now, I think they've struggled a bit. They continue to find a way. They're down 19 in the first half against Duke, 15 at halftime. They found a way to get a win. Unbelievable coaching job by Danny Hurley. When you look at what he got from certain key contributors in that basketball game, for them to win that game is really incredible. Take away how much they were down. And this is with them not getting a great performance from basically anyone outside of Terrace Reed. UConn beat Illinois despite getting out rebounded, having fewer assists, having the same amount of turnovers, and they shot less free throws than Illinois in that game. They won because they held Illinois to 21% from three, 21% from three, 32% from the field. They lock them down defensively. They are a physical basketball team. They really need their guards to start playing better. They've not gotten good guard play. It's been up and down from Caravan. Mullins has struggled the last month, and they've really got nothing from Solo Ball, who in that win against Illinois scored 15. And they also have the best coach left in this thing. So to me, if Illinois wants to win this game, they have to bring the defense that they brought in the last 2 games that they've played. UConn scored 74 points against them earlier this season. I think UConn will be fine playing in that range. So they're really going to have to D them up and make it difficult for them. They need to figure out a way to slow down Terrace Reed and limit good looks from 3. This is an Illinois team that hasn't defended the paint great. It's where Houston got the majority of their buckets. Iowa, not as many. They shot better from 3, but still scored a lot of points in the paint. And they're a team that averages 83 points per game. They haven't come close to that their last 2 games. So they are a team that needs to generate the offense that help get them here. They have plenty of guys who can shoot and plenty of guys who can score. They need to get good looks. And quite frankly, they just need to lock them down. And they need to get their freshman Wagler going. They need to get him with the ball in his hands and letting him create. He's their best player. UConn needs good guard play. They need to get scoring from Caravan. They need to get scoring from Mullins. They just need better overall basketball from Solo Ball. He's been a non-factor, not just in this tournament, but even leading into this tournament. In the Big East play, he didn't play well. They have to team rebound. Illinois is a team that rebounds about 5 more rebounds a game than UConn does, so they need to help rebound on the glass. Cannot give Illinois second chance buckets. They need to bring that physical defense that they brought when they beat Illinois earlier in the year, and lean on Terrace Reed. If they can get him good looks and they can score in the paint, it will open up the perimeter shots, which they struggled with against Duke. Again, they hit 5 threes and they took 20 something against Duke, still found a way to win. And again, I will mention again, they have the best coach left in this thing. No disrespect to Brad Underwood, but it means something when you have Danny Hurley on your sidelines. I think this is a game that UConn would love to play in the high 60s, low 70s. Illinois might be okay with that right now, with the way they've played defense. I think if this game can get into the higher 70s, Illinois is going to feel really good about their chances. If you ask me right now to pick, I'd probably pick UConn. I have a really hard time picking against a Big East team that I've watched a lot this year. But this is going to be I think this is going to be a really good basketball game. That game earlier in the season, I don't think is indicative to where Iowa is now, and maybe even where UConn is now. So I think this could be a good basketball game.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Illinois comes out defensively in this game because, like you said, I mean, their defense has been excellent the past few games in the bracket here. I mean, they completely shut down Kingston Flemings in the Sweet 16 round for Houston, right? I think he scored only 11 points. I don't think he even shot 30%. It was really, really off game for him, which, we saw a very, very rarity for him this season to play as poorly as he did, but you got to give Illinois a lot of credit there. And yeah, the rebounding ends of it, those 2 big twin towers, they call them, the Ivisic brothers, I think they're going to play a big role. We'll see what UConn counters with there, right? Terrace Reed, he's going to be the key player for UConn in this game. I think he had a dominant performance himself on the boards in the bracket. I think he had a 27 rebound game earlier in the bracket. So, his physicality is going to be really the primary obstacle for those big guys on the Illini interiors. And again, I think Caravan really needs to have a better game, right? He didn't play well at all against Duke. I mean, he's a key contributor for that team. So if he can chip in, even if he starts hitting some threes, maybe at a better clip, I think he shoots 38%, something like along those lines from 3. So if he can step in and just be more of a difference maker for UConn, I agree. I like UConn here in this game. Just the experience here, man. Like even Danny Hurley coaching, like even Caravan, I think I saw he's won like 17 of 18 tournament games or something like crazy like that.
I think he's the most winningest player in UConn history,
which is crazy.
An insane stat
with the history that they have there.
Yeah,
too.
when you think of the players who have come through this program.
Right. And what's actually crazy? Speaking of crazy stats, what I actually saw about a few hours ago? So UConn is actually the only FBS team that's basketball budget, I'm talking men's and women's combined, is bigger than the football programs. The only FBS, what do you want to call them? FBS Division I team that the basketball budget outweighs
Don't get
the
the
football
Seton Hall
budget.
fans started about how they play on an uneven playing field in the Big East, because I could go on a nice rant about how they are a nice state public school that has the resources that maybe the private schools in the Big East don't. But yeah, you're right. This is a basketball school. It's what they've done, and Danny Hurley's come here and he's helped to revitalize it. What I think will be interesting is UConn has a big guy they bring off the bench as well, who's a pretty good basketball player. Not to the level of Reed, but Reed really dominated the matchup against the Visich brothers. Really dominated that matchup. I think they're both playing much better now. So I'm really curious to see how they match up with him this time, especially with a previous experience under their belt.
So it sounds like we're both on UConn, right? You're on UConn. I'm on UConn for the first.
There's absolutely a world where Illinois wins this game. For me, it's just difficult for me to pick against the Big East and pick against Danny Hurley and pick against UConn. Now, if they make it to the finals and we'll break down this next matchup, I won't have a hard time taking whoever in this next matchup against them. But yeah, I mean, I think in this one it should be a really good basketball game, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so let's get into the second game now. I really believe whoever wins this game is going to be our national champion.
I agree.
I think both of us have been on Arizona the entire tournament. I've been on Arizona all season with how good they've looked with those freshmen in there. So Michigan versus Arizona. Michigan wins the Midwest region. They beat Alabama in the Sweet 16, and then they absolutely dominate Tennessee in the Elite Eight. They beat them by almost 30 points. So Michigan reaches the Final Four for the first time since 1989 when they won the whole thing that year. Arizona, coming out of the West region, they beat Arkansas pretty handily in the Sweet 16. And then Purdue gave them a fight. You know, the first half of that game was tight. They pulled away in the second half. So Arizona reaches the Final Four for the first time since 97 when they won it all this year. So we're talking about two best teams in the tournament playing here. And it's a pretty interesting storyline to me, Tom, because you got the Michigan transfers over here. So, right, so Lendeborg, Cadeau, Mara, Johnson Jr. against the Arizona freshmen of Burries and Pete and Karchenkov. So I think that's a really awesome, interesting way to like how you're going to construct your team, right? Whether you're heavily on the recruiting or you're heavily on the transfer portal. So Burries and Pete, they've been phenomenal all tournament for Arizona. Lendeborg, we know how awesome he's been for Michigan. Arizona, very physical team. Michigan, they're actually the most efficient shooting team in the country. They don't always rely on three-pointers to get the job done. So your overall thoughts on the Michigan-Arizona matchup?
Yeah, and very quickly, because we haven't mentioned him yet on this podcast, and I'll mention him when I go into my breakdown, but Jaden Bradley was a Big 12 Player of the Year. Like, he's a phenomenal player, too, and they have this guy on this team, and we haven't mentioned him in 3 podcasts talking. That's how talented this Arizona team is. To me, truthfully, this is the national championship game. I think whoever wins this game wins the national championship game. 2 of the best 3 teams that we talked about in the tournament. The winner will be the favorite regardless of who it is in the finals. The fact that we get this game, this feels like maybe one of the better Final Four games we've gotten in a long time. These are 2 of the 3 most consistent teams from the start of the season to the finish, to the end. Michigan, has 3 losses. One of them was to Duke in a game they could have won. So we could be talking about these were the 2 most consistent teams, if not for that loss. It's amazing when you look into these 2 teams and stats and whatnot, how similar they are to one another. Michigan, about 8 guys deep, 4 guys in double figures, 3 guys who can really rebound. Cadeau is playing the best basketball of his career right now, at least collegiately, and they might have the best player in the tournament to me in Yaxel Lendeborg. And it feels like to me, everybody outside America can at least give you something from 3. Cadeau used to not, and he's been shooting the ball great in this tournament. Arizona, 7 to 8 guys deep, 4 guys in double figures, 2 guys who can rebound at a high clip, 2 of the most dynamic guards in the country in Burris and Bradley. They have a number of ways that they can beat you. Physical basketball team. I thought Yaxel Lendeborg said it best the other day when he was basically like, they got some NBA guys, we got some NBA guys. We're basically going to battle on this, and I love it. Arizona's going to want to continue to attack the rim, score in the paint. They are not the most consistent team from deep, so any shots they can hit will be great, but they rebound the ball incredibly well. They're second in the nation in rebounding, top 10 in the country in offensive rebounds. They're going to want to try to get up and down the floor, try and make this a little bit quicker of a game, use their guard play to help set up whatever they want in the paint. They want to get in the paint. It's not just dumping the ball inside to Krivas and Pete. It's their guards attacking the hoop as well. They can do it. Michigan, They have to force Arizona to become a jump shooting team. If they don't, I don't see how they win this basketball game. Have to use their athleticism and experience. The upperclassmen that Finn mentioned, I think that's such an interesting point and a major point in this game to win the battle in the paint. They cannot give away cheap fouls. Arizona shoots the free throw at an incredibly high clip, and they're going to want to do that by getting to the lane and being physical. Michigan cannot give away cheap fouls and let them get to the line early. On offense, Michigan has to run good offense, and they're going to have to knock down shots. They'll get to the rim, they'll score a little bit, but they're, to me, the better three-point shooting team, even if it doesn't show that statistically. So knock down the shots. Elliot Kudo's shooting the ball a little bit better. They have a couple other guys who can knock down shots. They're going to have to generate those open looks and knock down shots. I think one of the ways that they can do that is I think Yaxel Lendeborg has to win whatever matchup he has. Whether it's Pete, the freshman, matched up on him, or whether it's Karchenkov, another freshman, matched up on him. This is a senior, oddly enough, who grew up in New Jersey. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I realized that about halfway through this tournament. I was like, holy crap, I didn't realize this guy went to high school an hour and a half away from where I live. But he's going to be the mismatch on the court. He's the one that when you look at Arizona, yeah, they have guys who physically can match up with him in terms of measurables, but can they physically match up with him? He has to be the guy who dominates this basketball game, starts with the ball in his hands and creates things, whether it's scoring or whether it's passing. He's a very good passer. I said it before, I'll say it again. I think he's the best overall player in this tournament still. And he's got to play like that in this basketball game. With that said, you said it, I said it. We've been riding Arizona from the start. I think consistently they're really good. I think their guard play is better than Arizona's guard play. And I think inside they're going to match up well enough with Michigan. So I'm going to go Arizona in this matchup. But truthfully, it wouldn't shock me if Michigan comes out here and big bros these guys and said, hey, we're the seniors, we're the juniors, we're the ones who have been through this before, we're experienced, and experience still matters in this tournament. There's a reason that you don't see these teams that load up with freshmen win consistently. It's usually the teams with the experience, but I've been riding Arizona from the beginning of this thing. I can't switch it up now, so I'm picking Arizona to win this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how physical Michigan can be with Arizona in this game, right? So Arizona, very physical. So they're third in the nation in free throw attempts per game. All season, they've excelled at putting opponents in foul trouble. So it's going to be interesting to see if they prefer to be more of an outside shooting team this game. Maybe there's a way that they can pull the Arizona bigs out of the paint. Maybe it opens up some more lanes for Mara or Johnson inside. But yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Lendeborg is going to have a really, really big game, I think, for Michigan to hang with this Arizona team. Like, Arizona, just feel like the roster is just, I know we're talking about freshmen here, but they've been so good all season. And yeah, I got to ride with them. I think they're going to win. I think it'll be a close game. I think maybe Arizona could pull away maybe like the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game, but I think they're going to roll through to the championship game and face off against the UConn Huskies on Monday night.
It's unbelievable how similar if you just look at the roster,
they are similar.
Instructions of the teams, it's unbelievable how similar these two teams are. They both have a couple bigs that don't necessarily play all the time. Arizona have Krivas, Michigan has Mara. The rest of their guys, their wing guys, are all like 6'9", 6'8", 6'7" type guys. You have the smaller guards on the teams. If you just look at the rosters, it is mind-blowing how similar they are, and it's going to take a mammoth effort from some player on one of these two teams to take this game over. And we have them on both sides, whether it's Lendeborg, whether it's Bradley, whether it's Burrows, whether it's Kudo, who's been unbelievable in this tournament, or role guys like Johnson or Mara or Krivas. You know, there are superstars on both sides. I mean, this is a game that if you love college basketball, you make sure you're parked in front of the TV and watching it, because Michigan, I think, is 1.5 point favorites right now. I mean, that's fair. Like, I could see, I think, going down to just being a pick 'em, because either team could win this basketball game. And we're both picking Arizona. If we come on here on Saturday night after and break these games down and talk about how Michigan won this basketball game, it wouldn't shock me either. You know, that's how good these two teams are. And I'm happy we get to watch them.
Yeah, Michigan, a 1.5 point favorite. In the other game, Illinois, 2.5 point favorite over UConn.
With the way both these teams have played the last month of the season, and I guess it's probably more tournament based, but it doesn't shock me that Illinois is a favorite in that basketball game.
All right, folks. Well, we broke down the Final Four preview for you. So our next show is going to be Friday night. We're going to continue our NFL draft series. We're going to break down the offensive linemen. We'll touch base again for the national championship game for Monday. So thanks for hanging with us in the Loft. The official Loft Sports podcast can be found wherever you consume your podcast. Check out our website at loftsportus.com. We continue to add scouting reports for the NFL draft. Tom continues to work on those. Please check out our articles. Rate and review our articles. Please let us know how we are doing. Feedback is very important to us, so we need to know whether we're doing something right, maybe we're doing something wrong. How can we be better? Our draft series will continue on Friday. I've got full baseball predictions posted on the site. The season is officially started. I got standings predictions, award winners, full playoff matchups, so check that out. Follow Loft Sports on X, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us on all 5 social platforms. We are under @LoftSportsUSA. Please rate and review us on whichever platform you listen to your podcasts. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We will talk to you soon.